Okay, so let's quickly revise what we learned yesterday. So yesterday we learned about list, right? We started this data type. We kind of finished the string data type with these three sessions, and now we are learning list. So what is list? So list is a collection of items, entities that are separated by comma, right? So here is one simple example of list, right? Here is one simple example. So it is a collection of items which is separated by comma and which is inside a square braces. This should be inside square braces if I have not square braces. So what are square braces? These are square braces. Okay, these are square braces. Then, then, yeah. So as we continuing with the practice of yesterday's session. So yesterday we started learning about list data type, right? And meanwhile, we have completed this string data types and some operators. Okay. So this is a new data type. So what is list, right? List is a collection of items, entities that are separated by comma, and those the items should be inside a square braces. So what are square braces? So this is very simple example of list. So new list is equal to square braces, right? These are square braces, and some items, some integers are there, and which are separated by commas, right? Which are separated by comma. So very first example is the second statement was list is used to store various data types. List is used to store various data types, be it integer. So this is the example, right? This is the example. So list can store integers. So one is an integer. List can store strings. So this is a string. Anything which is inside double quote, single quote, triple quotes are a string. List can store floats. So these are floats. List can store dictionary or sets. So this is tuple or set, and this is a dictionary. And list can also store data frame, which we will learn going ahead, and it can also store a list inside a list. So this is another list which is inside this big list, right? And the third point was list can allow duplicate items. So if you can see there are three twice I have written. So this can list can item allow duplicate items as well. And the very fourth and main point which I have written it here, that list can also called as list can also list a mutable or changeable or editable data type. Okay, editable data type. So what is meant by mutable? Mutable means it can be a changeable or editable. मतलब we can edit this one, we can change some items, right? So if sets or tuples are not editable from outside operations, whereas list can editable, we can edit. So here was one example. So new list, here this is a new list, right? So what I've done is at point 4, so this is the location of string is 4, right? Because 1 is 0, this is point 2 is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and string is 4. So what I did is new list location 4, change this string to Virat, right? Change this particular string to Virat. And when I printed this, so you can see everything is same, but the string has been changed to Virat. Okay, string has been changed to Virat. It means this is mutable, right? It means this is mutable. Mutables means editable. We did edit here, right? We changed string to Virat. Okay, we changed string to Virat. So next we understood what is index, right? What is indexing in list? So there are two types of index which we also learned in string data type. When we were learning about string data type, we also learned about indexing. So there are two types of indexing. So the very first is positive indexing, the second is negative indexing. So what is positive indexing first? So positive indexing, it starts from 0 and goes to positive infinity, and this is left to right, right? So let's understand this with one example. Taking this as first as a list. So list 1 is equals to braces 157 and a string, that is a saver, right? So now if you consider positive indexing, it is from left to right, right? Left to right means from here we will start counting. From where we will start counting? From left to right. Okay. And it starts from 0. It starts from 0. So this 1 will become 0, right? Not become, its index is 0. So 1's index is 0, 5's index is 1, 2, and this is 3. Okay, this is 3. So if I want Sehwag, what I will do is list 1 and in braces I will type 3. So I'm giving the location of Sehwag so that when I run this program I will get Sehwag, right? I will get Sehwag. So this is how the positive indexing is. What? It starts from 0 and goes to positive infinity, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and infinity, right? And then what is negative indexing? So negative indexing is it starts from -1, goes to negative infinity, and we count it from right to left, right? Right to left. So taking this example again. So when we talk about negative indexing, we will count from this end, that is right end. So this one is -1 because it starts from -1. So Sehwag is -1, 7 is -2, this is -3, -4. These are the indices of this particular item, right? These are the indices, basically locations. So if I want to access Sehwag again with the help of negative indexing, I will say list of -1, I will get Sehwag, right? I will get Sehwag. And then these are some examples that I have asked you. Okay. So let's continue with today's uh, topics. So very first topic is slicing. Okay, the very first topic is slicing. So let me take one example. Uh, list 1 is equals to list 1 is equals to 1 comma 4 comma 5 comma, for example, Virat comma 8 comma 1. Okay, so this is something a very simple list where what is list anything which is inside square braces. Some items are there which are separated by comma. Okay, so now this is one item, second item, third item, fourth item, fifth and sixth. And if we talk about indexing, so this is zeroth item, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And if you talk about negative indexing, this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, right? So if I say list one of of -3, I will get this one. Oh, -1. -3, if I say I should get Virat, right? Like this. So what is slicing? Slicing means cutting the list into like slice. We want a slice of it, right? A piece of it. If there is this entire list, I want piece of it. I only want this particular list, or I only want this particular list. I only want this particular list, right? So if I write like this, so For slicing also, I think we have understood previously. Let me just write an example. For slicing, for slicing, right? For slicing, the initial is start index, right? Start index. Then there is a end index, and then there is a step size. If you guys remember, the start index default is 0. Okay. The end index default is length of string, whatever, or length of list, right? And the default step size is 1. Okay. Default step size is 1. So when we learn about slicing, when we try to do slicing, we use this function, square braces, right? Here we kind of will add list, right? List. So this is a list. Then there is a square braces, right? Then there is square braces. This is a start index. It can be anything 1, 12, 2, or 0, right? So if there is nothing, the default index is 0. Then there is an end index after this, you know, colon. When there is a end index is length of list. So this is a default one, right? This is a default one. And then if I add one more colon, if I add one more colon, then there is a default step size is 1, right? Default step size is 1. So if I run this, I will get exactly same. So these are default values. This is a start index, right? Start index. The default value is 0. We have already learned this previously. This is end index. After a colon, there is a end index. The default value is length of whatever the list is, and then there is a step size 1. Okay. So now let's try to get slice this using different strategies. Or let's say I want only 147. Okay, I don't really want these, right? I don't really want this. So I want to cut this down, like Caesar out. I will run a Caesar on this. So how I will do it? How I will do it? So I want 147. Okay. So I will use indices. So my start index will be 0 because I want 1. Okay, 1 also. So 0. And then what my end index should be? It should be Virat, right? It should be Virat because I will use Caesar and cut this Virat so that I will get 147, right? So what is the index of Virat? So this one is 0, 1, second, and this is third, right? 3. So if I add 3 here, and if I run this, I will get 147, right? 147. So you can see I've got 147 of this whole list, right? Why slicing is used? First point, why slicing is used? So we don't really want complete data. This can be long as, like, hundreds of or thousands of records can be stored in the list, right? Or ultimate records can be stored in the list. But I don't really want to deal with the entire data set. I just want this first three elements. So what I used it, 0 is to 3, right? 0 colon 3. So this 0 is considered has taken from 1th, and it will count to third item, and third item will get Caesar out, like it will get cut down, right? And these three items I've got. So now what I want to do is I want this Virat and 8-1, right? I don't want 147, right? So one more example, list 1 is equals to, so my start index should be 3 because I want Virat, right? So if I run immediately, I will get Virat, right? So my start index should be 3, and then I want this entire 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 element, right? So what I will do is I will count, right? This is 3, 4, 5, and what I will do is I will write 6, right? I will write 6 because 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 this is third, fourth, fifth, and I will write 6 because the sixth item will get cut out. So I've got this entire string. And also instead of this 6, if I write like this, 3 is to length of list 1. Okay, length of list 1, because the end, like we wanted last element, right? So we'll get the same, right? We'll get the same. Or also you can use a negative indices also here, right? Negative indices. So what you want, uh, from -1 to -3. So let's try, can we get that? So I think from we are using -1, so probably we will not get 1, right? We did not got 1. So I will keep it empty, right? So if I keep this empty, it means it is using length of 1, right? So now we got this. So this is the ultimate 3 ways you can access these 3 last items, right? These 3 last items from this entire list. Okay, these are the 3 items that you can ask entirely. So let me just give you quick revise here. So we were learning slicing, right? Slicing, what is slicing? You need to use list, whatever the list you are slicing out, then there is a start index, then there is a end index, and then there is a step size. So the default value of start index is 0, default value of end index is length of list, and default value of step size is 1. So we have taken this simple example where in the list we added, integers, and then a string called Virat, and then again integers. So I used for slicing for slicing what I did is used all the the default values. So the start index is 0, start index is 0, the end index is length of list, right? And the step size is 1. So basically this will give me the exact output that we already have. The input is equals to output when we use default values, right? So initially my aim was to get these 3 items from from entire list. So what I did is I used this list of 0. So this will give me one item from start, like it will give me a start item, and then whatever the second item I mentioned, it will count till that, like 0, first, second, and third, right? Entirely this will be my entire item which I have written here. But when we do slicing, the last item will get cut down, right? And we will get only first 3 items. So now we got only first 3 items. And the letter what we thought is our aim is to get last 3 items. Last 3 items. So what we did using this positive indexing, we said 3. So 3 will give me Virat, right? And the last item that I mentioned will give, like we will count till that. Like this is third, fourth, fifth, and sixth will get cut down, which is not there. So it will get cut down, and we will get this item. And this can also be done using this negative indexing, right? So if I do -3, so -3 will give me Virat, and from -3 I used default value, that is length of list 1. So I've got this till end, right? Till end. So I hope this is clear to everyone. If there is any confusion, let me know. Okay, okay. So the one more question that people usually ask here in the interview, that is reverse reverse the given list, right? Reverse the given list. and the list, let's say the list one is this, right? Let's say they have given this particular list, and they will say कि reverse कर दो इसको, like entirely reverse this and list. So what we will do is we can make a use of step size. So let's understand step size before we go here. So we already have gone through it, right? This step size, but I'm still doing it. Let's say we have this again, the same example, right? So list one is equals to, so the default value is 0 and start index and end index default value is this. So what I will get? I will get entirely same, right? And the step size, the later we add, the default value is 1. So entirely we will get the same. But when we increase this step size, we what we do is we consider Mr. Mario's example, right? Mr. Mario game that we consider. So we all know who is Mr. Mario. If you don't know, let's understand. Let's see who is Mr. Mario. Mr. Mario game, right? He is the Mr. Mario. So if you have played this game, what Mr. Mario does is he jumps from one item to another item, right? He jumps from one item to another item. So consider when we say step size of 1, consider Mr. Mario standing at position 1 and it is walking from one item to another item and it will give you each and every item, right? So if I change the step size to 2, right? If I change the step size to 2, so consider again Mr. Mario is standing at 1. Okay, consider that Mr. Mario is standing at 1. So now when you say 2 as a step size, it will take second step, like it will jump on 7, then 8, and so on, right? So what output we will get? 1, 7, and 8, right? So if I run this, I will get 1, 7, and 8. And similarly, if I say step size as 3, so it will run on from 1 to directly on Virat, and then there is like so on, but there are no more values. So what we'll get? 1 and Virat. So if I run this, we'll get 1 and Virat. So consider every time when we talk about step sizes, so consider Mr. Mario's game example where we consider like standing at the initial stage and whatever the step size we mention, it will follow like 1, 7, 8 like that. Okay. Okay. Then there is negative step size also. There is negative step size also. So if I say -1, we will not get anything actually. Even for -2, we will not get because this is in positive indexes. We can't really use negative step size at the moment. So, anyways, but coming back to the question, right? Coming back to the question. So, if you get any example like reverse the given list, you just have to do list of one, list of one. Then you will add these two colons, right? Two colons. So the first is 0, right? First is 0. The default value is 0. Second default value is nothing. It means it is length of list 1, right? Length of list 1, right? So if you don't really mention it, automatically considers that. And if you add -1 here, the step size, right? Given -1 step size, so it will what it will do? It will count from -1, like -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, right? If I run this, I will get entirely reversed string, right? Entirely reversed string. So the question sounds a bit difficult, like how I can reverse this entire string. But if you run this particular example or if you run this particular code, right, giving these two colons and then -1 as a step size as a -1, it will reverse this given string or given list. Okay, it will reverse this given list. Okay, and if you can also like increase the step size here like -2, but what it will do, like it will consider -1 like 1, 7, 8, right? So when I run this, we will get, okay, wait, -2. 1 Virat, acha, 1, then Virat, then 4, like this. So the step size is 2. Okay. Then, acha, 1 Virat and 4. Okay, 1 and Virat and 4. When we consider minus 2 as a step size, and minus 3 is similar, like it will use 1, 7 and nothing, right? If I do minus 3, it will do 1, 7 and nothing. Okay, so let's keep this example for you to understand in future. So one more example, for negative indices. Let's say I say list one of minus 5 is to minus 1. Okay, minus 5 is to minus 1. So I will get some value, that is 4, right? This is minus 4 actually. So this is minus 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. This is minus 5. So last item will get uh, drop down and wait, minus 1. This is minus 5 that we got, and this is the item. Okay, the minus 1th item will be get dropped out. So this is minus 1, right? So let me just comment this out. Mm, This is minus 6th item, right? This is minus 6th. This is minus 5th. This is minus 4th. This is minus 3rd, minus 2, and minus 1. Okay, these are for negative indices. Negative indices. So this is minus 1th item, minus 2, minus 3 is Virat, minus 4 and minus 5. So when I take these example, right, this slicer, that is minus 5 to minus 1. So minus 5 item is 4, right? Minus 5th item is 4. So it will look from this particular location. So where I am going, like minus 4, then I'm going till minus 1. So I should get all these items. But when I will use the slicer, the last item will get cut down, so that my final output will be like this: 4, 7 and 8, right? 4, 7, Virat and 8. So if I add one step size also, it will kind of like look the same. Is to, let's say, minus 1 is to minus 1. So it will look the same. It will look the same, right? But if I want to kind of add a negative step size, I will have to change these things to, minus 5 to minus 1. Then I think it should run. Yes, it should run. So basically, I will have to like reverse this first and then use minus 1. So don't go here because this is a bit confusing and we don't really use much of a time. But understanding this, how we can slice out any string, right? How we can slice out any string. If we want this first item, I think here we use it. My laptop is acting. Anyways, if you want first three items, you can use 0 to 3. If you want last three items, you can use like these three, 3 to 6, right? Yeah, and in the same way, we also understood about what is step size, right? What is step size? So I think until this now, we are getting these things a bit. We have already gone through this when we were studying about string, but still I'm trying to explain small things also. So what we understood is positive indices, positive indices. So when we right, the format of step sizes or slicing is like this: list, then start index, then end index, and then there is a step size. Okay, these are some default values, and we kind of, with the examples, we try to slice down a given list, right? So this was a given list. We try to slice down into the pieces. Okay, we try to slice down into the pieces. So now the next topic is So the next topic is checking how, like, checking the items from the given list. Okay, from the given list. So what does this mean basically? So let's take one example. List 2 is equals to mm, any example like 1 comma 1.2 comma um, you know Python. I'm adding a string. Let's add one more list inside a list, right? Like 3 comma 5 comma 5 comma 4. Then I am adding, let's say, uh, a tuple, right? 4 comma 5 comma 6. Let's add a dictionary also, like 4 comma 1. And then add one more example as a AI. Okay, AI. So this is our list too. This is our list too. Okay, this is our list too. So this list too contains that one integer, one float value, string, list inside list, a tuple inside list, a dictionary inside list, and a one more string. Okay. So all these three other things we will learn going ahead. We have learned till this, like Python. These are integers and floats that we know. So now we want to access the items from the list, right? Like check whether the items are there in the list or not. For example, the very first is, let's say if I say Python, if I say Python in I'm using in operator in list 2. What I'm saying, Python in list 2. So this is checking, right? And whenever we check anything, we will get true or false, true or false as output, right? As output. So this is a Boolean output. This is a Boolean output. So now we are checking क्या इस list 2 में Python है? Is there any Python word in the list 2? So I can see one Python is in the list 2, right? So if I run this, I should get true, right? I should get true. So this is how we check the items from the list, right? This is how we check the items from the list. Easy, right? Easy. Yes. If this sounds difficult, you can raise your hand and drop a question or drop a question in the comments, right? Or drop a question in the comments. There are some other examples that also can be, we can also use if and else statement. So we write like we have learned, right? If let's say 1.2 in list 2, okay? If 1.2 in a list, print print 1.2 present in the list, in the list. So if I do this, this particular condition will again get true, right? Because 1.2 does present in the list. So 1.2 is there in the list, right? 1.2 is there in the list. So this is the same example. This is entirely the same, like Python in, but I have just added if as a statement here and did some add some print statement also. So this is how also we can kind of go through the you know entire list. So there is one more method, that is a loop function, right? Using loop functions, we can access list items. We can access list items. But now, like this is the loop function, that is for loop and while loop. So there are different loops like for loop, then while loop, right? Then while loop. So we will learn these loops. We will learn this loop uh, like in depth in coming lectures, but let me just give you a glimpse of it so that you can kind of understand how we can how we can uh, you know access the item from the list. So let's take one list, okay? So one list of, let's say, cities. Okay, cities. So here is a list. So we live in Chhatrapati. Oh, one second. We live in Sambhajinagar. Then another city is Pune. Then another city is Mumbai. Okay. I'm making a list of cities. List of cities. The second is Choti is Dhule. Then let's say Nagpur. Okay. Nagpur. Things like that. So we have these list of cities. List of cities. So using a for loop, what you can do is using a for loop, let's say for city in cities. So this is the format of for loop. Like when you start with for, right? You start with for, you specify any item here. You specify any item here, and you say in cities. So this is a iterator. Let me tell you what that means. And you say print print this iterator. Okay. So what happen is from these cities, this iterator will check one each and every item. It will check each and every item. Since we are understanding this topic, checking the items from the list, for loop is the very ideal candidate to do that. So if I run this for city in cities, okay, for cities in, it can be anything. If I run this, we will get output like this. So it will check each and every item. So it will check, okay, there is first item is Sambhajinagar, second item is Sambhajinagar, right? The second item is Pune, third item is Mumbai, fourth item is Dhule and Nagpur, right? So this can be anything. So initially people uses I as a iterator, okay? I as a iterator. So they say for I in cities, print the iterator, right? So this I will go into the cities and it will check each and every item. So if I run this, I will get the same. Okay, I will get the same. So this is one of the way to do that, right? This is one of the way to do that. Like to check the items from the list. Okay, to check the items from the list. And then there is let's say one more example I would like to give you is using range function, right? Let's say using a range function. I'm not sure if we have gone through range function, or maybe we will learn that. I will revise that. So let's say you have a affirmation, okay? Affirmation of, so you daily affirm something like I am healthy, okay? I am wealthy. So this is your affirmation, okay? And you say, sir, I want to write this affirmation 10 times, 10 times using coding, but I don't really want to type this 10 times. I want to do this using some function. So here, what we'll do is we will use this for loop again, like for I in affirmation, right? Affirmation. And if I say instead of that, okay, let's write this first and then I will change. Okay, so this it will go through each and every word, right? It will go through each and every word. We'll get each and every word for this particular string. This is a string, okay? But if I say a range of 10, okay? A range of 10. What I did is I gave range of 10 and I said print affirmation. So for I in range of 10, okay? For I in a range of 10, it means 10 times whatever the given code below, write this 10 times, okay? So this will happen, that your affirmation will get print out 10 times, okay? Your affirmation will print out 10 times. So you don't really have to understand all this, because anyway we will go in deeper with all the for loop and also range function. Maybe today I will explain you the range function quickly, okay? uh, let's do that now. And I think in the time interest of time, we can let's cover this range function. But more or less, I wanted to explain you how we can check the items from the list. The very first thing is using in operator. In operator, we can change whether a particular item is there in the list or not, right? So this Python was there in the list, so we got true. So if and using if and else statement also, you can check whether there are any items, whatever desired item in the list or not. And the very second, the third option is using for loop. Okay, so we will understand this for loop in more deeper way in coming lectures, and also in terms of like using same for loop, but with the range function, it becomes more easier, like more powerful. You can use quite a few different things when you combine range function and for loop. Okay, so let's understand a range function right now. Okay, let's understand range function. So let's understand range function, and then I think let's close today's class. So range function. So just we got to know this. This is how it looks, right? This is how it looks. So first, its format is uh, let's say a syntax, right? Syntax is syntax looks like this. So you need to use range. You need to use range, and then there is a start index is there. Then there is a end index. We don't have to use colon. We have to use comma. And then there is a end index, and you can also make a use of step size here as well. Okay, step size here as well. So let me just give you one example or a format. So you need to use range, and let's say this is start index, this is end index. Okay, this does not really mean anything, but when you take any one more example, let me give you. So when you add a list of a range of 0 to 5. Okay, so you are asking a list of these 0 to 5 items. Okay, basically 0 to 4 items. So if I run this, you will get 0 to 4 items. So these are all 5. The length is 5, like 1 2 3 4 5. All items are 5, but it starts from 0. Okay, it starts from 0. So this is how a range function is useful. Okay, so if I add one more thing, like a list of a range of 0 to 10, comma, a step size is 2. So if I say step size is 2, so what will happen is I will get the words, but all all even numbers, right? All even numbers. So initially there were like when if I remove this, I will get all 10 items. But if I add step size as 2, so you know what happens to it. So Mr. Mario will come to 0, then 2, then 4, 6, 8, right? So this is the final output that we will get using a range function. So range function is used for creating a dummy list, right? So this is kind of a dummy list for us, right? Where let's say we want to do some operation. So what we did is we create some dummy list, right? We created some dummy list. But sir, can we like kind of use negative indices also? So these are positive indices, right? 0 to 10, right? And then there is step size. So can we use negative indices as well? So we can use, let's say like minus, you know, I think -1 to -5, and then -1. So we'll get this like something like this. So this is also something that we can kind of use. Like we can also use negative negative examples also. So when I say dummy list, right? When I say dummy list, I said it is used for creating a dummy list, right? So these are some small examples, but you can also kind of create a like huge lists also, like let's say ranging from 1 to 100. Give me numbers of it, right? And if I print this, so what I will get is from 1 from 1 to 100, right? From 1 to 100. So this is how you can create a big list. A big list is how you can create a big list. So this is a big huge list. Okay. You can also create using this dummy or a range function. A range function, and you can also add step size to it, like this. To If I open this, it will look like this. Okay, it will look like this. So, is there any question? I was talking quite a few. If there is any question, drop in the comments. Okay, and then there is a last operation of this range function is using, mm, I think, for loop that we have already seen. Let me give you one example with for loop. Okay, so let's say we said for I in a range of, so initially also we kind of use this, but we used like this, right? And for 5 and print affirmation like this, affirmation. So it gave us affirmations. But you can also do like different things, like from 1 to 5, for example. Okay, 1 to 5, uh, right? Like print give I to the power 2. Okay, so all the item from 1 to 5 give me its power. You can do like this. So what it will happen is, we'll check 1, then it will give 1's power, then check 2, give 2's power as 2, and 3's power as 9, 4's power as 16. So this is also, you can like get the squares of whatever the number is there, right? So you can do quite a few things using range and for, right? You can, for example, let me give you one more thing. Right, like for I in range of, let's say, 1 comma 51. Okay, 1 comma 51, and if you say print, you know Python, so what it will do is, it will print 50 times, like maybe 49 times Python, right? Okay, Python. So this is how you can do quite a few things with the range function, for function. So we will learn for in a very deep manner, but you must understand what is range. So there is a start index, there is an end index, and there is a step sizes. Okay, there are step sizes. So this start index means your list starts from that. End index, it means your list length of list is that, like this 5 as a length is considered, right? And the step size that we have already learned. So slicing and range is almost same, but slicing is for cutting the slice and range is for creating a list, any particular list. So we create any particular list from this range function. Okay, so I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear to you. If this is clear, I think in the scope of students also, we have quite a few students today. So let's not go to more topics, so that tomorrow I will have to revise much in deeper way. So I think if you both have understood this, type in the comments, and we can close the today's call. And tomorrow we will learn quite interesting and most important functions, that is append, extend, and insert, and if time allows we will understand more functions. So list is something that will allow, like, very flexible. It will give you quite few uh, more options, like to deal with data in a very nice way. So you can kind of access data, deal with data in a very you know great way when you consider list. So we'll understand these things in coming lectures. All right, bye bye. See you